You want to come in closer? Come in closer, closer, closer. And then say, hi, welcome to the Powcast.
Hi, welcome to the Powcast.
And this week, we're going to do pirate reviews.
Okay.
Or not reviews of pirates, but pirate movies.
Yeah, I know. I was there.
Because we watched a bunch.
Yes, I was there.
You tell them.
We watched like 6 or 7 pirate movies.
Had a pirate movie marathon.
Yeah. That's more like 7 or 8.
I don't think it's that many.
Oh, man.
I watched one this morning, kind of. I watched the Ghost of Blackbeard, or Blackbeard's Ghost, is one of those late 60s Disney movies by Buena Vista. That's the company. Buena Vista is they did a bunch of but they did the Davy Crockett movies, and we watched those too, because we ended up slipping from regular pirate movies to Davy Crockett versus the River Pirates. And then we went through that whole Davy Crockett thing. But Buena Vista movies. And then I watched Ghost of Blackbeard, or Blackbeard's Ghost, which was not great, but it was charming. You slept through that. But you watched all the actual pirate movies. And so we did the Pirates of the Caribbean.
We didn't get to complete it because
right.
They have to wait till December.
On Disney Plus, they haven't released that Dead Men Tell No Tales, which we saw that 3 years ago.
Was it 3 years?
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago. We saw it at a drive-in. Needless to say, why don't you talk about your feelings about the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, and what was your favorite
movie or part?
The movie. Which one of the movies was your favorite?
Oh man, this is a little bit of a hard one. I want to say the first one, just because how I hate whenever I have these brain farts.
You can pass it back to me so you can think about it.
Yeah,
Overall, I'm going to say that the first Pirates of the Caribbean is my favorite because it is just so world establishing. There's an element of nostalgia to it because I did get the chance to go to Disney World in the 80s and ride the Caribbean ride. So I pick up on all those little elements that come from the ride. And so it's a heartwarming feeling. And it just works on nostalgia. That's really what tips it in the favor. However, I really do like the sequels, and it's because our antagonist is so relatable, and because Davy Jones as a bad guy is
just brokenhearted.
He's brokenhearted, and it's so cool that he's brokenhearted by the sea itself. And there's just like as a Jimmy Buffett fan, that poetic notion that men love freedom and love the sea and is untamed, and it is the way it loves you back. Will kill you. I enjoy that so much, and the actor who performs Davy Jones, Billy something, I cannot remember his name. I should have researched that before coming on and doing a review.
We should have done a lot more research. We're gonna run into a lot more.
And I always hate myself because I love him in everything. He works good. He works good behind the prosthetics. His notions are second only to Uh,
Jack Sparrow's.
no. But he's yeah. Johnny Depp's really good with the with that kind of performance. But Tim Curry, Tim Curry. It's just something about the snapping of the teeth. He emotes well behind the makeup, and even as I'm jumping all over the place with these references. I want to try to streamline this, but Tim Curry as Lord Darkness behind all that, he's still able to he gets that across, and I think his name's Billy something. Davy Jones emotes well behind the squid makeup, and so much so that even as a scary creature, he's still
Really relatable.
he's relatable. He emotes the brokenheartedness, and I love the scenes between him and Calypso.
There's only one scene between him and Calypso.
Well,
There's a lot of talk
about
their
it, yeah.
past, but
There's something so weird about Calypso too. She is like grungy and nasty and dirty, and they put all that nasty stuff in all their teeth, and they're dirty faced, and like they all still seem to they come off as so sexy, sensual, and it's so weird to it's that sexy dirty, sort of like gotta stop doing references. Like in Transformers movies, when Megan Fox there's stuff is blowing up all around, and they got smut on their face, and but they're all sweaty and dirty, but it's somehow sexy dirt. But for the ladies, you know what I'm talking about, because Johnny Depp shows up and he's got like junk in his teeth, and he's kind of dirty and he's biting on his nails, but
I've never. I don't think I've ever noticed him doing that.
God, he's constantly putting his teeth in his
he's
mouth.
doing this, but I didn't ever think he was actually biting his nails.
Yeah, he's like picking stuff out of his nails, like cleaning his nails with his teeth. And I mean, aside from that, picking up rocks and licking them, finding peanuts and
It's my
peanut. Okay, so I don't think we answered any questions. It's like they're all our favorite, but
I still have to go. They're all pretty good, but I think my favorite would have to be the first, just because
the first one is world building.
Captain Jack Sparrow comes in on a sinking ship, and he's just standing on the top of it. And whenever he gets off, I don't know what you call him, the dude who asks him to pay for a ship, and the ship only the top of it.
The dock manager.
Yeah, the dock manager.
So
he asks him to pay, and then he just doesn't, and he steals money from him whenever he leaves.
So we agree that the first movie is good. We can agree that the first three are good.
I say all of them are good. It just.
What about four?
Four.
Blackbeard.
Dude, I like the villain, but it does drag on.
I don't like, and I like the actor Ian McShane, and he should be able to pull off one of your scarier, gruffer villains, but he is not relatable. I don't care about him. I don't. He's not as threatening. Yeah, he's got a magic sword that can control his ship, but he's not walking through walls, and he's not a monstrosity.
He's not teleporting right in front of you.
Yeah, he's not as haunted. And what really kills this movie for me is the fact that they bottled up the Pearl and its crew, so we don't get to see any other familiar faces.
I also don't like the fact that they don't at least bring in the Flying Dutchman at least once.
And that would bring in Orlando Bloom, because he's stuck as the captain. We really need to get back around to like freeing him. from that. I do like the fact that um, Barbossa eventually got the Queen's Anne's revenge. And I remember seeing Dead Man's Chest, but I don't recall whatever happened to the Queen Anne's revenge in that. I don't recall him having the magical sword.
He got it. He got it. It was the weirdest thing.
We'll review that whenever they release it on Disney Plus. So we were having a good time reviewing the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and then we dove into the rich history of pirate movies with. Well, you had me watch Treasure Planet first.
Okay, I like Treasure Planet more than Treasure Island.
But we have to start with the beginning.
You get to see a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean's not influence.
The inspiration.
Inspiration from Treasure Island.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Long John Silver. And,
I like the Treasure Planet's Long John Silver.
Because he's a cyborg, he got robot parts.
He seems more fatherly to. You get to see the bonding between the main character and Silver.
Yeah, you might have a point there. It does a good job of. Takes a little time before we launch on the adventure to get to know Jim Hawkins a little bit more. Still the classic. It is very slow moving, but I tell you what, it didn't feel any more slow moving than the Pirates of the Caribbean's Catch Mermaids. I mean, on Stranger Tide. Man, the first 3 times I tried to watch on Stranger Tide / Catch the Mermaid, I'd get to the point where they catch the mermaid, and I'd fall asleep 3 times. I finally decided I was doing like you did with the pirate movie marathon. I finally got up one morning. I was like, I gotta have a cup of coffee and do this right now.
I was already watching it.
But I'm saying last time that I saw it, I watched it while I was doing like a week of all the Pirates movies, and I had to have a cup of coffee first thing in the morning to get through it all. On my 4th time, I finally saw it all the way through.
Like 4 days to get through all of them.
Okay, so we were on Treasure Island, Long John Silver. You can see that particular character in Barbossa. I think Barbossa originally may have supposed to have been Long John, and maybe they lost some rights or something. There goes Hannah in the background with her unkempt hair.
Hey, Hannah.
Doing a video. She looks like a bag lady.
If she watches this, she's gonna come out and smack you.
Okay, so what else? There's something about the love of apples that in
Oh yeah.
and they had like barrels of apples, and they were just like romantically and like about these apples like they were candy. I guess that was just to tell you that like they didn't have a lot of special things that they could have back in the olden days, so apples were a great commodity.
I think I just.
Apples and rum.
I think I just came up with another reason why.
I just came up with a country song. Apples and rum.
Treasure Planet.
I'm gonna run. Apples and rum. So,
down.
if anybody knows, give me a hint of where they were going. Was Barbossa supposed to be Long John? Did they run into? I mean, Disney has rights to Treasure Island, don't they? No, maybe
Yeah,
not.
we watched it on
Disney Plus, but I'm not sure that they can actually still use those in an original movie.
I mean, the whole name is Long John Silver.
Yeah.
Would that not just tell you why they probably don't get it? That it's licensed off to Long John Silver?
Oh, you think the food
Yes.
restaurant has the okay?
I mean, some people could just be mean.
Long John Silver's restaurant has the rights to Treasure Island. All right. Is that really what you think?
No. No.
Okay. So then we is that when we went to Davy Crockett versus the River Pirates? So let's
They
switch
weren't
gears.
really river pirates, though.
Well, they were more like river thieves.
We never really saw them. I mean, yes,
They
there
would've-
was
they
that
would-
one
they would-
time in the bar. That
No,
one
no, no,
bar
no, no,
that
no,
they
no, no,
stole.
no. No, that wasn't not Big Mike Fink and his crew, but like the guys who were dressed up like Indians.
Oh, yeah.
Those were the pirates. They would actually attack other boats when they would come
And
through.
yeah. Oh yes, and
But
the
then
captain of the ship that they had that was helping Davy Crockett.
Big Mike Fink.
Yes, he also seemed like he had a part to play in influencing Captain Pirates of the Caribbean.
Who do you think was like Big Mike Fink in Pirates of the Caribbean?
A little bit of Barbosa and
He was a little piratey, but you guys, if you get a chance, watch Davy Crockett versus the River Pirates, and let us know if you think that Big Mike Fink, the King of the River, is anything like a pirate. But here's where things went south, my friend. It's heartbreaking. You watch the Davy Crockett versus the River Pirates, and like, this is really sweet. This is wholesome, and there's no real. I mean, they shot some of the bad guys, and they went fell over, but there was only a few, and the rest of it was like very cartoony violence, right? And
the second movie started off with them in some kind of military camp.
Yeah.
And they go off to find Davy. Davy's wrestling a bear and killed it.
Don't tell them everything now. Come on. Gosh,
Well,
give away all the
thought
good
it was just
parts.
cool how they...
Spoilers, by the way. So once we watched Davy Crockett versus the River Pirates, we watched Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier. The subject matter just becomes very bleak. Yeah, that's a good word for it. Not more mature, just bleak. Final, less cartoony. It's still charming. It still holds most of its charm halfway through. But of course, Davy Crockett, it was a real person. He did some real life things on top of the tall tales, including serving in Congress and trying to work with Native Americans. And he was at the Alamo, which kind of wish.
The last one
Stop telling spoilers.
It's not spoilers,
God.
Dad.
It
Sadness.
is a 60-year-old movie, so
It's sadness, Dad.
it's a 60-year-old movie. You guys should have seen it by then. But if you haven't, go to Disney Plus. That's where we're watching everything. So that didn't really count as a pirate movie, but we watched it. So Griffin was left feeling like he should look up recipes to make rum. So maybe that's something we'll do. Watching pirate movies all week long and listening to Jimmy Buffett and hanging out on our little beach and starting fires So, does anybody else have any pirate movies that they would suggest we watch? I'll go ahead and talk about. You didn't see it, but I watched it this morning before you got up. Blackbeard's Ghost, or The Ghost of Blackbeard, again on Disney Plus. It was like that first Davy Crockett movie, very wholesome and charming. I'm taking that from. The actor who played Blackbeard was the same guy who voiced Prince John from the animated Robin Hood from the 70s, the lion that sucked his thumb. So he was awesome. He really shined. He played it up. He was hamming it up the whole way through. And it was not very swashbuckling. It was kind of fish out of water, like, what are these new contraptions? What are we cruising in? An automobile. Oh, let me have the helm. That sort of thing. Silly. Kind of lame. Movies for old people to watch, and that's what I did. Because I'm old people now, huh? Remember when you said I was old today?
Yep.
It sucks.
Making fun of you. You're an old man now, huh?
So, I think I'm going to let Griffin start watching some of the Huck Finn movies. He wants to do the Star Wars marathon as if he's never seen it. So he wants to move on to that. What made you want to watch the Star Wars again? I think I'd mentioned that Obi-Wan had that fake beard.
It was the fake beard.
The fake beard.
It was the fake beard.
Spot the fake beard. That did it. Now he just wants to keep watching. Yeah. I can't say no to Star Wars, except for Episode 1. So, no, we're going to skip that one. Watch it on your own time.
There's one good part.
Yeah, there's the lightsaber duel.
Best lightsaber duel in the entire series.
Close. It's a really good one.
There's
a really good one.
There's that, and then there's Dooku and Yoda. That's also a really good
Okay.
one.
Yeah, I think that's it for now. Tell us your favorite pirate movie. I know people want me to go watch Black Sails, and I'll get around to that. But
That sounds pretty cool.
well, what's your favorite pirate movie, especially old ones? Is Captain's Courageous? We'll have to rewatch that. I don't know if that's actually pirates. I think it's just old time sailormen.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's just they're on a boat and it's a kid learning from an old chiseled seaman. A seafarer that works on the sea. Oh. Okay, well, we'll come back later with our next review. Thanks for watching Powcast. He can go chew his gum now. He wanted to chew gum before we started the Powcast, and I was like, Junior, whack job? No way. Think again. But now look at him. Chewing gum like a jackass chewing briars. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Stop recording.